Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where each Friday I take three streaming services, pick one previously released film off of each of them, and hopefully by the end of this episode, you have a nice full weekend of films to go check out. And it's Valentine's Day, so I figured I'd make this a bit of a romance themed episode. So we have some interesting different kinds of romances across the history of cinema. And we're going to be focusing on Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus, and Max. So let's take things back to 1959. On Prime Video, you can check out Billy Wilder's classic farce rom-com gangster movie, Some Like It Hot, starring Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis as two band members, two musicians who witness a mob hit, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, there you go, and wind up hopping on a train and joining an all-female band disguised as women. And of course, one of them has to fall in love with the beautiful Sugarcane, played by the endlessly seductive and charming Marilyn Monroe. And this film is one of the all-time great comedies. And having somebody like Billy Wilder writing the script behind the camera just makes this so much more impressive. He was one of the greatest filmmakers of all time and wrote some of the most daring and sharp and fantastic, noirs and comedies. And he was able to find so much depth in his stories. And this film in particular is such a fun film. It starts in some crazy places with this whole mob element, but you find that both Curtis and Lemon's characters, Joe and Jerry, aka Josephine and Daphne, have to figure out what they really want out of life through the guise of playing these women. And you do have Curtis falling in love with Monroe. You do have Lemon capturing the attentions of Osgood Fielding III, this very rich man who has quite a thing for him. And even all the way up until the end when he finds out that he's a man, nobody's perfect. And this film is endlessly quotable. It is so charming. It is so funny. And it's a wonderful farce, a wonderful comedy that just captures great humor, great acting, and a wild premise that has so much potential for laughs and thrills. And Wilder's able to balance all those being a, noir director and then a great comedic director and really finding that emotional weight to go along with it. There's an extremely charismatic cast of Lemon and Curtis and Monroe. You have some great Italian mobster names like Spats Colombo. And this film just has about everything. It is endlessly charming, iconic, and there's a reason why this is one of the greatest comedies of all time and has stood the test of time and really just captures that beauty and energy in it. Heading over to Paramount Plus, not so far back into the future, but still, ooh, you know, 36 years ago, and that is 1989's When Harry Met Sally. And this is from director Rob Reiner, starring Billy Crystal as Harry, Meg Ryan as Sally. They have their pals, played by Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby. But this film from Rob Reiner, written by Nora Ephron, really just captures so many intricacies of relationships, poses so many interesting questions about male female friendships and do they work out or is it something where it's just like there's going to be more. And this film is so charming and so engrossing and takes you on this ride, and we're all but expecting that hopefully by the end these two just realize how much they are great together. And Crystal and Ryan have such an interesting chemistry together, two people you probably wouldn't expect to be falling for each other, maybe specifically Meg Ryan falling for Billy Crystal, but they just have this dynamic, this charm, whether it was from the very beginning where they go on this unexpected road trip and get to know each other, or years later when they find each other back in each other's lives, and the evolution of their relationship is so engrossing, so much fun, and has plenty of depth. You have the great supporting performance from Fisher and Kirby, who just reinforce the dynamics, the banter, the situations, the reactions of Crystal and Ryan's characters, the titular characters, Harry and Sally. And Rob Reiner just knew how to direct a film. That stretch that he had in between like the like early to mid 80s all the way through the mid 90s, just banger after banger after banger after banger. And When Harry Met Sally is one of the crown jewel achievements of Rob Reiner's career, and Efron just finds so many layers and meaningful elements into her writing that captures the spirit of these characters. This is just a charming, thoughtful, an engaging film that makes you think about certain things in relationships and what you would do if a film can get you to actively engage. That is something that is really impactful. And this film really has so much charm, so much energy, and so much going for it that it's hard not to be like, you gotta go check this one out for sure. And also, this is a fantastic choice for Valentine's Day. But last but not least, we're heading over to Max, and we're really turning the clock back now, almost 100 years, all the way back to 1931, and that is Charlie Chaplin's City Lights. And this film, with the aid of a wealthy, erratic tippler, a dewy eyed tramp who has fallen in love with a sightless flower girl, accumulates money to be able to help her medically. And this is one of the all-time great films from this era. And Chaplin, this is one of his crown jewel films for sure. Obviously, playing the iconic tramp, just capturing that energy. Virginia Cheryl as a blind girl, just there's that dynamic, there's that connection. And the film, which Chaplin directed and wrote, really has some great little details that flesh out the story, causes some of the confusion, like how Chaplin is standing there when Cheryl hears a door of a limousine like closing heavily and assumes that Chaplin must be then a rich person coming out of that limousine and causing this whole entire confusion situation. But Chaplin, being the tramp that he is, certainly has a suit on. Not exactly a nice one. But this film is able to capture so many wonderful moments. There is some tender, sweet, authentic romance. There's a whole entire boxing sequence in this film that is top tier physical comedy. Few scenes can possibly top it. It is absolutely delightful, fun, and engaging. And, you know, great physical comedy and action, but also some sweet, tender romance. This film really captures so much energy, so much personality that Chaplin's able to inject into it through his just endless energy and complete and wild banter of this character. And this film has so many iconic moments. You've seen Chaplin dress as a boxer before, probably, and that's all because of this movie. This film is that case of mistaken identity done well. And it's charming to see this film still getting attention almost 100 years later. And I'm glad that I'm here to be able to recommend it to you, sitting there on Max, along with a lot of other Chaplin films and a lot of classic cinema, because Max, just has all kinds of the classics. So make sure to continue to keep digging and enjoying them from there. But those are my recommendations and thoughts here on the streaming wasteland for this week. Make sure to like, comment, and share. What are your go-to romance films and for Valentine's Day films for you to check out to really set the mood and get you, being able to spend some quality time with yourself or with a partner? And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Make The SPDM Crew Podcasting Network has so many great shows from a wide range of different people. We're ever expanding, so make sure to check out all the great content we have. And if you like our logo, go check out Highflyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you, as always, for supporting the streaming wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.